Yes. Yeah, good evening all. So myself, I'm Vijay. Like I hold nearly 17 plus years of experience, which includes nearly 8 plus years of experience in Hadoop and Spark environment. So as part of today's demo, I'll be covering the following topics like what is big data? Why Hadoop? Drawbacks with the current databases. Hadoop and Spark Hadoop and yeah, Hadoop advantages, which later I discuss about that PySpark. Hadoop and PySpark job market. Observe here, right? Yes. Big data. The name itself saying, right? Huge volumes of data. Big data. Currently, how the data is getting stored. Data, the data storage units, right? KBs of data, MBs of data, GBs, gigabytes, terabytes. But beyond that, we have got petabytes, exabyte, etabytes, sotabytes, so on, right? Yes. So you should have seen KBs or MBs or GBs or even TBs, right? But petabyte of data, is it getting generated in the current real world? 1 petabyte equal to 1024 TBs. 1 petabyte equal to, yes, 1024 TBs. Examples of petabytes of data generation. Examples of petabytes of data generation.
Facebook, Instagram,
Yes, exactly, right?
Twitter.
With all the social media, right? For example,
Yeah.
if I take a banking sector like SBI, right? Within the city, you see hundreds of branches for SBI. Within the entire state, you see thousands of branches. Within the entire country, we see lakhs of branches for SBI, right? Again, in each branch, millions of customers making multiple transactions. Lakhs of branches. In each branch, millions of customers making multiple transactions per day, per hour, per month, per week, right? Each and every transaction has to be stored, huge data getting generated. Yes, just now someone was saying, right? Social media like Facebook. Facebook, right? It has got users throughout the world. Yes. Facebook has got not the users not only within the country, it has got users throughout the world, right? Millions and trillions of users for Facebook. 1 second. Millions and trillions of users for Facebook, right? In a minute, what is the data generated by Facebook, right? It's not in KBs or MBs. It'll be in petabytes of data, right? Each and every post and video has to be stored, right? What should be the storage capacity to store all these posts and videos? And what is the data generated by Facebook in a minute? Not only Facebook today, if it is any application, if you talk about any application generating huge data, right? If we talk about 1 minute transaction, just 1 minute transaction, right? In a minute, how many posts, Facebook posts, Twitter tweets, everyone querying in the Google, right? Google queries, what is the data generated by Google in a minute? Everyone uploading the videos in the in YouTube, right? YouTube videos upload, what should be the storage capacity to store all the videos? Millions and trillions of people using email messaging, right? Each and every message has to be stored, right? What should be the storage capacity to handle all the messages? Just now I was talking about the bank transactions. Similarly, like bank transactions, like telecom transactions, or if you talk about that Amazon and Flipkart, the e-commerce transactions, right? Everywhere we see like huge data is getting generated, right? Yes. So currently we have got databases, like we have got databases like Oracle. Okay, if you talk about databases, we have got Oracle database, MySQL, right? DB2, SQL Server. All these databases used for OLTP, online transactional processing, OLTP, right? Online transactional processing for day-to-day operations. We have got some specialized databases. You heard about these names, right? Specialized databases like Teradata, Netija, Vertica. These are the specialized databases used for data warehouse purposes, right? DWH, for OLAP operation, analytical processing. But if you talk about these databases, specialized databases, they can handle data up to some extent. But to unlimited data, right? For unlimited data handling, right? For handling unlimited data or huge data, for storing and processing it, we have got framework like Hadoop. Later I come back to the services of Hadoop, right? But before that, how this data is getting generated, how the data is getting generated, right? So if you talk about this is the data in the current world. This is the entire data which is in the current world, right? Which is available, which got generated from the last 50 years, 1974 to 2024. If you observe, if you compare the last 10 years, if you observe this 2014 to 2024 with the previous 40 years, with the last 10 years, right? Only 20% of the data you see and 80% of the data has been generated from the last 10 to 15 years, right? And previous 40 years, only 20% of the data has been generated. Reasons for huge data generation from the last 10 to 15 years because of usage of technology, usage of internet, usage of smartphones. Because of usage of technology, usage of internet, and usage of smartphones. And this 80% of the data, 80% of the data, right? What are the main sources from where this huge data is getting generated? Mainly three sources of data, I can say. Social data, machine data, and transactional data. Social data, machine data, and transactional data. Social data, machine data, and transactional data. Right. Social data means data which got generated from social websites, right? Like Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, all this such kind of data we call like social data. Machine data means data which got generated by reading or scanning the barcodes, RFID chips. So for example, if you go to a shopping mall, right? For the items you purchase, you will get a bill, right? Bill is going to be generated, right? So by reading the barcodes and scanners, such kind of data we call like machine data. Transactional data like day-to-day transactions like telecom transactions, bank transactions, right? And this 80% of the data is going to occupy three formats or three types, right? three formats or three types of data, like structured data, semi-structured data, thirdly, like unstructured data. Structured data means data which is organized in the structured format in the form of rows and columns like Excel sheets, data DB tables, database tables. Semi-structured means which is not fully structured, which is not fully unstructured, like XML files, JSON files, right? Yes. Unstructured data, right? Like chart messages, articles, images, videos, all this. The biggest challenge is to handle this unstructured data. See, if we talk about the databases, they can handle only structured data, which is in the form of rows and columns, but semi-structured like XML, JSON, and for unstructured data. So Hadoop can handle all varieties of data that are even the PySpark, right? Can handle all varieties of data, structured, unstructured, and semi-structured. As data is increasing enormously day by day, we need to have some proper storage systems for storing and processing it, right? As a solution to all the storage level problems and processing level problems, right? We have got a framework called Hadoop. It is meant for two things. Hadoop is meant for mainly for two things. It is meant for storage, and also it is meant for processing.
Processing.
It is providing two services, storage and processing. If you talk about any technology, right, they provide either storage or processing. Like if you talk like C or C++ or Java or all this .NET, all this they are meant for processing. Or if you talk like Oracle, MySQL, DB2, all this they are meant for storage, right? Either for storage or processing, but Hadoop is meant for both storage and processing. And for storage, does it use any database for storing its data? No, databases has got some drawbacks. Despite of those drawbacks, it is not going with any database for storing its data. It is going with a kind of file system called as Hadoop distributed file system. And for processing, does it use any technologies like Java or any other? No. It's going with a parallel execution model called as MapReduce and currently like Spark, right? So Hadoop providing storage and unlimited data storage is possible and huge data processing, right, at a quick time. And so for storage, we have got HDFS, and for processing, MapReduce and Spark. So you may ask, when Hadoop is able to perform both storage and processing, what is the necessity of this? When Hadoop is performing all those, means you need to clearly understand what kind of applications we can develop using Hadoop. There are two types of applications. Mainly, there are two types of applications, right? Online applications, batch applications. Online applications and batch applications. Hadoop is meant for batch applications. Hadoop is not for online application. To make a single transaction, Hadoop is not required. Two transactions are for millions and trillions of records or transactions, right? Hadoop required. Online application means online application, user interactive applications, where user gives the input here. To make an online transaction or online payment, user should give the input, the source and destination, how much amount to transfer. Those, right?
You can call it as stream processing.
Booking a movie ticket, making an online payment, all these are online applications. Batch application, Hadoop is for batch application means user non-interactive applications, not for client server. Batch applications or Hadoop is not for client server when client giving the request, getting the response. it is master-slave architecture it follows. So batch application means user non-interactive application. One example of batch application, for example, a labor example, railway ticketing, right? PNR status. Today your status is 200. After 1 hour, it's 150. Tomorrow morning, like somewhere like 80. Tomorrow evening, it got confirmed. Here, user is nowhere required. User is not performing any action here. It's not giving any input here. Everything happens in the background in automated way, right? Or credit card statements generations for millions of customers. Phone bill statements generation for millions of customers. Most of these banking applications, financial applications are batch applications, right? So Hadoop is for batch applications are for batch processing, right? So fine. So why databases like Oracle? Why databases like Oracle is not used for storing Hadoop's data? Drawbacks with the current databases. Observe this drawbacks. Drawbacks with the current databases as compared with Hadoop, right? As compared with Hadoop. First thing is most of the databases, very less storage. We see like less storage. And in most of the databases, no parallel processing. No parallel processing. Okay. If I talk, just observe this. If volume increases, volume increases, speed decreases. What is that? Volume increases, speed decreases means if you take if the volume of the data is increasing, the speed is decreasing. A labor example, a small student carrying a bag of books is running with that bag, holding that bag. If he has got 5 kgs weight, okay, he can run with that. But if the weight is increased to 10 kgs, he can walk with it. If it is increased to 50 kgs, he cannot even move, right? So if volume increasing, the speed decreasing. In the same way here also, if I take SQL queries, right? If I want the total amount from sales one table name is sales one. Assume it has got to 10 records. I want the total amount generated for another table from sales to which has got 1 lakh records. Yes. One more, right? Select, yes. Total amount from sales 3. Total amount from sales 3 of 1 crore records. Which query is going to execute faster among these 3? Which query is going to execute faster among these 3, right? Total amount of 10 records, total amount of 1 lakh, total amount of 1 crore. The first query executes faster, right? Total amount of 10 records as compared to the second and third. So as volume increasing, the speed decreasing, right? Even if complexity increases, speed decreases, right? Even human brain speed also, right? If you go with a small like 3 into 5, say 15, 14 into 32, 343 into 792. Yes. So depending, complexity increases, for example, here, if I take a query, total amount from sales one, just so the same query I'm taking. Yes, if I take the same query, sales one, it has got 1 lakh, you think, assume you got 1 lakh in this. 1 lakh records. Select average amount, right? Yes, I want average amount from sales one only, from sales one. Select standard deviation of amount, right? Standard deviation of amount from sales one. Okay. First, which query executes faster among these three? Total amount, average amount, or standard deviation? See, the second query, average amount, it's a two-step process. First, sum has to be calculated, next average has to be calculated. As compared with the first one, second one taking more time, two-step process, right? Third query, right? Lot of internal processing requires standard deviation, means query to query. So if complexity increasing, speed decreasing, right? Major drawback with the databases, databases can handle only structured data. It can handle only structured data. They cannot handle unstructured data. They can handle only structured data. They cannot handle unstructured or semi-structured, right? Okay. See one example on this, database is handling only structured data. If you want to take reviews for a particular movie, right? Reviews, this is your table name. You got a table in a structured format. User is one column, review is another column, right? In a structured format, yes. You've got 100 rows, user one, user two, user three. In this way, 100 users. User one saying the movie is good. User two saying movie is bad. Third person saying movie good. They are giving feedback in the form of ones and zeros, right? Can you count the number of ones and zeros? Can you write an SQL query to count the number of ones and zeros here? Single grouping, single aggregation. Select. I want a review wise count. I want a review wise count star. I want from the reviews table. From reviews table, group by review. This is an SQL query. This kind of data can be handled. The output, if you see review wise, review 1 and 0, right? 90 people saying the movie good, 10 people saying the movie bad. Right? Okay, 90 people saying it's good, 10 people saying the movie is bad. But generally, reviews won't be given in the form of ones and zeros. They'll be given in the own text format. First person saying movie is good. Second person saying movie is not good. Third person saying, okay, everyone giving in their own text format. Now, can you write an SQL query to count the number of goods and not goods? Even by using keyword count, if you try to, it gives wrong computation because not good also having good in it. Yeah. So this kind of, it cannot handle the data, right? So it can handle only structured data, right? So complexity increases, speed decreases, can handle only structured data, less storage, no parallel processing, volume increases, speed decreases. These are the major drawbacks with the current databases, right? Yes. See, Hadoop doesn't follow client server architecture. It follows master slave architecture. Hadoop follows Master slave architecture. Master slave architecture. Single master and multiple slaves. Cluster, we say Hadoop cluster, right? Hadoop cluster. Group of nodes. Group of nodes means CPUs. Connected in a network. Group of CPU nodes, CPUs connected in a network. There are two types of nodes. Two types of nodes. Master node, yes. Secondly, slave node. Master node and slave node. So here within the master node, right, in Hadoop terminology, we have got name node. And with slave node within this Hadoop terminology, we got a data node. Yes, just observe this. Hadoop follows master slave. It's not for online processing or online applications, not for request response, not for client server, right? Single master and multiple slaves. Multiple slaves like slaves. S1, S2, S3, so on, Sn. This is the master node. These are the slave nodes. Slave nodes or data nodes, we say. Why we call data nodes? Data stored within the slaves, data processed by the slaves. When slave nodes only are storing the data and processing the data, what is the task? What is the work done by the master node? Master node assigns the tasks to the slaves, T1 task, T2 task, T3 task, T4 tasks. Master node assigns the task to the slaves and slaves has to execute those tasks. Multiple tasks will be executed by multiple slaves parallelly. That's why parallel processing we say, right? Yes. Load balancing. Equally, the load task will be assigned to all the slaves by the master. If suddenly, if four tasks are executed by the four slaves, suddenly if any one slave goes down, then the task of it will be assigned to any of the other slave. Who does this? Master, right? F1.txt in Hadoop, data is stored in the form of files. The file is again subdivided into smaller parts we call like blocks. They are divided into smaller parts called blocks. The blocks are distributed. The blocks are distributed across multiple systems. So here two advantages we see, right? If you see each system capacity is 1 TB, 1 TB, 1 TB, 1 TB, but this f1.txt size 2 TB. This 2 TB cannot fit into any of these systems. So it will be divided into smaller parts. The parts are distributed across multiple systems and are processed by multiple systems parallelly. Two advantages, distributed storage and parallel processing, right? Yes. Master node responsibilities. Master node responsibilities, right? Task assignment. Second, assigning the task to the slaves. Balancing the load to each and every slave. Load balancing. Fault tolerance. If fault tolerance means if multiple slaves are executing multiple tasks parallelly, if any one slave goes down, then the task of it is assigned to the another slave. That process we call it as fault tolerance mechanism. And also the health monitoring of each and every slave, right? The task of master node. Okay. Slave node responsibilities, slave node responsibilities are two. Slave node responsibilities. Slave node responsibilities. Hmm.
Data storing,
Yeah, storing data and processing data.
processing data.
Yes, slave node responsibilities, but later I discuss in brief about this textual part, right? Next, advantages, right? Drawbacks of databases you have discussed. Advantages, right? Hadoop advantages. First thing, unlimited data storage. Unlimited data storage. Unlimited data storage. Very high speed processing. Very high speed processing. Unlimited data storage. Very high speed processing. Can handle all varieties of data. Can handle all varieties of data. Structured, unstructured, and semi-structured. Open source it is. No licensing required. It's a cost cutting, right? And commodity hardware. Commodity hardware, it doesn't require any highly configured systems, right? Can run on any machine, right? Unlimited data storage. Very high speed processing, can handle all varieties of data. Open source, commodity hardware. Unlimited data storage because of horizontally unlimited scalability. Horizontally unlimited scalability, right? Scalability, right? Means horizontally unlimited number of systems can be added, right? Observe, right? This is your, okay, you're running an organization, right? With some slaves. You're running with less number of systems, like 10 systems, right? Your data, your customers are increased, branches have increased, data is increased, still you cannot go with the same number of slaves. Horizontally, it should increase. If customers increased by 100 times, data increased by 1,000 times. So you cannot go with the same systems, right? Horizontally, you keep on increasing the systems. So horizontally unlimited scalability. Very high speed processing because of parallel processing. Parallel processing can handle all varieties of data, structured, unstructured, and semi-structured. Open commodity hardware, right? So there are many tests conducted to check the speed of Hadoop compared with other databases. Yahoo has conducted a test. Yahoo has conducted a test, right? Okay. Yahoo has taken a table of 100 TB consisting of 1024 1024, right? Columns. Sort task. Sorting based on 16 columns. Based on 16 columns, right? Sorting based on 16 columns. Time taken, right? What is the time taken? Time taken by different databases. Oracle has taken nearly 3 days to process it. Oracle has taken nearly 3 days. MySQL database has taken nearly 6.5 days. Teradata, a specialized database used for data warehouse, has just taken 4.5 hours. Another specialized database like Netija, it's for used for data warehouse. It has just taken 3 hours. Finally, Hadoop. 3.4 minutes. Hadoop has just taken 3.4 minutes. The latest version of Hadoop has taken 1. So Hadoop proven in the market processing point of view, right? Yes. Even storage point of view, right? Storage point of view also Hadoop is proven in the market. Why databases? There is a query, right? For example, one question. Why databases? Why databases like Oracle won't support unlimited storage? Won't support unlimited storage. Why databases like Oracle won't support unlimited storage? Why it won't support unlimited storage means there is a limit for the databases, right? For all the databases, there is a limit. Even databases also can go with multiple systems, right? Databases and max limit on the number of slaves. Max limit on the number of slaves. Okay, for example, Oracle max limit on the number of slaves. Oracle can go with max 256 slaves. 256 nodes are CPUs, right? 256 nodes means CPUs. And MySQL maximum, right? MySQL can go with maximum 54 nodes. MySQL Express, right? It can go with a maximum 256 nodes. DB2 maximum with 256. SQL server also can go with maximum 256. So all these databases can go with the maximum 256. Beyond that, they cannot support. Oracle, right? If you are using these 256 nodes, just like if you take a labor example, like your mobile phone, if it's 64 GB internal storage is given, all the 64 GB internal, if you're filled, right, you filled it, the performance of the phone degrades, that sometimes it won't even start. Same way in this Oracle also, right? Cannot support beyond that. Even sometimes the performance of it will be degraded. I'm not saying that MySQL is the slowest. It's not the slowest database. No. How many for storage, right? Storage point of view, right? I'm talking about the storage, not the processing point of view, right? If you talk about the specialized databases, right? Like Teradata, it can go with maximum 512, right? But currently they are going with 1024, right? 1024 nodes. And even Netija, they are going with 1024 CPUs or nodes for storing their data, right? Yes. And Vertica is there. We heard about this specialized data Vertica. It's going with 512 nodes. So, but still 256 or 1024 or 512, we cannot say unlimited data storage will be possible. Once they get filled, they cannot support data further, right? Yes. But there is no, but there is no limit. So there is no limit on the number of slaves that Hadoop can have, right? But there is no limit on the number of slaves that Hadoop can have. It can go with unlimited, horizontally unlimited scalability. Example, right? Yahoo, when first time implemented Hadoop, when it first time implemented Hadoop, went with 4,000, it went with 4,000 slaves. 4,000 slaves are nodes. Currently, it is going with 12,000 slaves. 12,000 slaves, right? Nodes. Facebook, when first time implemented Hadoop, when it first time implemented Hadoop, it went with 8,000, right? In 2005, almost 20 years ago, right? It went with 8,000 slaves. Currently, Facebook going with 42,000 slaves, right? 42,000 slaves storing its data, right? Yes. So there is no limit on the Hadoop, right? That it can have no limit on the number of slaves that Hadoop can have. Thousands of slaves, that is 4,000, 8,000, or 42,000, right? And processing point of view also, right? Very fast processing, right? Yes. Yes. So before I go, what is the course content, how the training levels, right? Just I'll say 10 minutes on this PySpark, right? Which has got a great boom in today's market. Okay. Pys just 10 minutes I'll discuss on this PySpark also, right? Parallel processing, right? Means if data is distributed across multiple systems are going to process the data parallelly. So work done by single person, work done by 50% parallelly, right? 50% doing parallelly takes less time. So parallel processing, the same way Hadoop multiple systems, a single file divided into multiple parts stored across 40 systems and processed, means 40 systems processing a single file. What is Apache Spark? Why PySpark? Need for PySpark. Yes. Real life usage of PySpark. PySpark job market. PySpark job market, right? Yes. So if you talk about Apache Spark, right, it is an open source distributed system, cluster computing system introduced by Apache Software Foundation. It is a general engine for data analysis, big data analysis, processing, and computation. PySpark, why PySpark means it is a Python API. It's a Python API to use Spark. So Spark is an open source cluster computing system which is used for big data solutions, right? So PySpark is it's a lightning fast technology, right? Which is designed for fast computation, very high speed processing, right? It's one of the very demanding tool among the data engineers, right? To work with the bigger data sets. Yes, and it is used for running distributed SQL, for creating data pipelines, for ingesting data into the databases, for machine learning algorithms, working with graph algorithms, working with the data streams, streaming data, right? Yes. So need for PySpark means if you see huge data is getting generated, the data is consisting of different patterns, corrections, market trends, customer preferences, and other useful business informations, right? So extracting that required data, valuable data from that raw data, right? So we require some efficient tools to perform different operations on this huge data, right? So already we have got some tools, but the tools are not that much efficient. So, so PySpark is one of the flexible tool to crack the big data and gain benefit from it. So combining Python and Spark will be the efficient for the world of big data. Apache Spark communities came up with a tool called PySpark, very high speed, even faster than Hadoop, right? PySpark, see, if you should have seen the speed of this, right? Where it has taken 3 days, 6.5 days, 4.4. Hadoop has taken 1.2 minutes. That is the speed of Hadoop. But PySpark is 100 times faster than Hadoop. PySpark is 100 times faster than Hadoop. See the speed of that PySpark then. That's why the name Spark we say, right? With Python implementation, PySpark we say. But still Hadoop components, some you need to have the idea of some of the Hadoop components, right? Yes. So combining Python and Spark will be the very efficient for the world of big data. So Apache Spark community has come up with this tool, right? Yes. And real life usages, if you see, even in commercial sector, it is used in real-time processing, in bank and financial systems, in retrieving the customer social media profile and to take decisions accordingly, credit risk assessments, and in healthcare, right? Which patient is going to face this kind of issues, the predictions for entertainment industry, right? Even like most of the OTT platforms, most of the OTT, they use this PySpark, right? Especially that OTT platform like Netflix using this PySpark real-time processing for personalized online movies and web series. So it processes nearly 450 billion events per day. And even for e-commerce, like websites like Flipkart, Amazon, the PySpark is used for advertising, right? for recommendations, even for tourism industry, by providing some advices to the travelers by comparing the hundreds of sites. Even you can see because of this very high speed today, so industry is using this PySpark, which is one of the demanding tool which has got high boom in today's market. You can just check with this PySpark jobs, right? You can just open Chrome, lot of jobs for PySpark. So just open and say PySpark jobs. So, but even the salary package for this PySpark as compared with other technologies, 1.5 times more than the other technologies. The same way they'll be expecting the technical skills. 22,912 PySpark job vacancies in May. PySpark jobs on Naukri. Explore PySpark job openings. So that was with bigger packages, right? And you need to have the knowledge of Hadoop also, right? Yes. So if you see the course content, right, what I'm going to discuss, so you'll be getting the entire knowledge of this, of what all that as a data engineer, right? What's all that you need to get, like starting with data, big data Hadoop. What is big data? Why Hadoop? Need for it? Challenges, advantages. HDFS, Hadoop distributed file system, right? Hadoop distributed file system. Name node, data node. Secondary node architecture of it. Map reduce total and scoop. SQL plus Hadoop, the first two characters of SQL, last three characters of Hadoop perform makes this scoop for import and export operations. While importing only, we can perform different operations like transformations, filtering, mergings, groupings, joins, all this we can perform similarly. Even yet another resource negotiator, right? So we got some architectural changes from Hadoop 2 version onwards. Everything I'll be discussing in brief. Yeah, on architectural components. NoSQL databases. NoSQL database, not only SQL, SQL advantages, and one NoSQL database like HBase, and also provide you knowledge on streaming technologies like Kafka and Flume. Streaming data means data which keeps on incrementing, which keeps on generating. And one of the important component of Hadoop Hive, in brief, we'll be discussing, right? Difference between HQL, we have got Hive query language similar to SQL, right? Loading data, different tables, internal, external, working with unstructured XML data, JSON data, URL weblog data, file inserts, local files, HDFS file, UDF, UDAF, UDTF, user-defined functions, user-defined aggregated functions, tabular functions, partitioning, bucketing, indexing, static partitioning, dynamic partitioning, multi-column partitioning, right? Performance tuning mechanism, how to improve the query performance. There, PySpark, right? PySpark introduction, need for PySpark, Spark context, Spark session, right? And PySpark RTD computations, RTD persistence features, and different PySpark core computations, fault tolerance, has got powerful fault tolerance mechanism, groupings and aggregations, group by key, reduce by key, different types of actions and transformations one by one with many working examples. PySpark SQL data frames, data frame API, and PySpark converting data frame to pandas, RTD to data frame, structure type, structure field, row class, select, collect, with column, drop, order by, group by, union, join, UDF, map, flat map, all these are the built-in functionalities. No need to write huge tasks, huge codings here. Directly inbuilt functionalities available. Many PySpark SQL functions, aggregate function, window functions, date function, JSON functions, built-in functions, and PySpark built-in like when, expr, lit, split, translate, overlay to data, right? In this way, all these functions one by one, right? In brief, and PySpark external sources, SQL statements, Hive integration, CSV, JSON, narrow and wide transformations, new columns, new rows, dropping rows, handling nulls, deployment mode, cluster mode, local mode, PySpark application, right? Status and task, driver and executor, building Spark applications, pipelines, deploying, right? and PySpark streaming and integration with Kafka and machine learning library, right? That I'm going to discuss. That is in brief, in depth of this PySpark package. Nearly 60 to 70% time I will be spending for PySpark, remaining 40% for this Hadoop, right? And people who doesn't have knowledge on this Python, they'll be given in-depth knowledge on this Python. For 1.5 to 2 months, you'll be given training on this Python. Total this Python 4 and Python advanced programming. So Python basics, Python operations, if you see applications, features, versions, installations, modes, editors, IDs, data types, comments, input output type conversions, comments in Python, and strings in Python, escape sequences, operators, IDs. In real time, we use these integrated development environments, Jupyter, Spider, Eclipse, NetBeans, PyCharm, Anaconda distributions, right? Yes. Flow control statements, looping statements, strings, string indexing, string slicing, string functions, string methods, string special characters, collections, list tuples, sets, dictionaries, list indexing, list slicing, list functions, list methods, list addresses, nested list, list modifications, tuples, sets, dictionaries, functions in Python, modules in Python, packages, errors and exception handling, file handling, object-oriented programming concepts in brief, regular expressions, database connectivity, Python datetime module, OS module, advanced concepts like iterators, generators, closures, decorators, web scraping, working with CSV, XML, JSON files, graphic programming, TK Inter, working with Excel workbook, data analytics, direction to data science, Pandas module in brief, NumPy, numerical Python in brief, Matplotlib model plotting and visualizations, right? In brief, this is entire Python core and advanced. This is also given, right, within this package, right? Within this PySpark and this Hadoop package, Python is going to be covered, right? Yes. Observe this. So Hadoop, PySpark. So total implementation goes in Linux. So you'll be given knowledge on this Linux, right? And also you'll be given the total full knowledge on this Python. So this Python you can attend any of my, see this Hadoop of PySpark and this Linux, right? It will be in the weekend, Saturdays and Sundays. Saturday and Sunday, right? So it will be from 6 p.m. to 6 to 8, 6 to 8, right? But as these are demo sessions, right? Taking at 7 o'clock, but for mostly from next week other, right? It will be from 6 to 8 in the evening, right? Yes. For the initial 1 or 2 weeks, it will be at 7 o'clock. Later, it will be at 6 o'clock, right? So these are the weekends. So nearly it will go to 12 weekends, means 3 months in-depth course on this PySpark, Hadoop, and Linux. And this Python, you can attend any of my batches of my Python, right? Monday to Friday, weekday batch. So there are some batches going to start, which I have already started, right? So there is a batch in Python which started at 7 p.m. Some 4 days back it was started. Otherwise, there is a batch going to start at 10 p.m., right? On this coming Thursday, on 16th May. And for morning, this is for evening people who wants to prefer Python, right? 7 p.m. or 10 p.m. you can prefer. But next, and if 10 p.m. means okay. Next, like for morning, there is a 8 a.m. batch, right? 8 a.m. batch on this Tuesday, 14th May. There is 8 a.m. Initially for 1 week, it will be at 8 a.m. Later, it will be at 7 a.m., right? Okay. So this also 10 p.m. Initially, it will be at 1 week or 2 weeks, it will be at 10 p.m. Later, it will be at 9 p.m., right? Fine. So for we can attend these Python sessions, right? You can just contact this online team for this batches details, the other things for Python. Already they have forwarded. You can see in the Zoom chart, right? Yes, is this Python 10 p.m. right? Yes, who is that? Shashank Agarwal. This Python 10 p.m. For the first 1 week, it will be at 10 p.m. Later, it will be at 9 p.m. 9 to 10, it will be 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock up to the end of the Python course, right? Means for nearly 60 sessions will be discussed on this Python, right? 60 sessions, nearly for 2 months, will be discussed on this Python for an advanced, because you should be good in that Python, because total implementation in Python, right? So you'll be having for 1.5 to 2 months course on this Python, right? It will be includes advanced Python. I was saying pandas, some many libraries of Python like pandas, NumPy, Matplotlib, tkinter, PyMySQL, all these are included in that, right? Advanced modules are included. So there is a batch starting, right? Do we have to register again for Python, or is it included in the Hadoop package? So yes, no, see here, 1 second. This entire package is for 15,000, right? So which includes Python also. So no need to pay anything extra for Python, right? Which includes in that. So if anyone, if you're, okay, so it's 15K. If anyone, if you have already got enrolled for Python by paying some fees, right? Exclude that fees from this and pay the remaining fees, right? Of 15K, among the 15K, you'll be getting this Hadoop PySpark Linux Python. So 8 a.m. on this Tuesday, 14th, when there is a batch, and 10 p.m. on this Thursday, there is a batch going to start on Python. That is from Monday to Friday, it will be. So nearly for 2 months. Do you have any plans for weekend Python also? We see this Python weekends, the students will be, if this high-end technologies, that high-end technologies having weekend batches is fine, but Python weekend batches, no. If you want, you see, you'll be getting the, okay, Python is not that a complex language, right? Very simple technology. Means it looks very simple and easier to understand, right? So if anyone already is, many people who have already enrolled for the previous Hadoop batches, right? If they're unable to attend because of some office timing, they are following the videos. Daily, you'll be getting the recorded video, right? Of all this Python, Hadoop, all these things, right? You'll be going with Python and Hadoop parallelly first. Hadoop and Python will be discussed parallelly. Hadoop in the weekend, Python in the weekdays. So by the time you come to PySpark, right, almost like 50% of your Python gets completed, right? 50 to 60%. So you'll be getting the recorded video of each and every Python session and this. So people, if anyone unable to attend, even they can follow the video, right? If you got any queries, you can attend during that any 1 or 2 sessions, you can attend and you can just clarify your queries if you got anything. And clear notes, soft copy of the notes. Soft copy of the notes, right? Even everything clearly it will be mentioned in that. And assignments and tasks to work with. And a WhatsApp group will be created for the technical discussions, right? Anything like WhatsApp group, you can take a snap of that error and you can post that in the WhatsApp group if you have got any errors. No need to wait up to the next week, right? So even the other people can interact, can answer. So you'll be recorded videos, and video you'll be getting to your Google Drive, soft copy of the notes to your mails, and WhatsApp group for discussions, assignments, right? These are the offerings from our side. This is that is the course structure and that levels. So tomorrow at the same time at 7 p.m., right, we'll discuss more on this. Tomorrow also everyone can attend the same time at 7 p.m. using the same link, right? Discuss more on this. Assignments will be given every week or on daily basis after classes. Yes, with the assignments and tasks only, you can build your code, you can implement the things, right? You can get the command on the subject. That's assignments and tasks will be provided. Yes, Sailesh, right? Sailesh Pola. Or if you want to get the link for once you do the payment for this Hadoop, right? This entire package, if you do, you can attend any of my Python session, you can attend any of my big data batch, right? Whichever timing it starts, right? And even if there is any shift change, if you're unable to attend the Python session evening, morning, you can shift it, right? With the pre-intimation, right? Okay. you'll be getting you can take that contact details of this online team, right? In the chart, you can see some contact details are provided. Yes. Have any the two contact details are provided, you can just call them, right? For giving they'll be providing the link for you. Okay. Link for the Python sessions they'll be providing for this. Okay. Fine. And one thing, most of the people, they do a mistake, right? They will do the payment, but they won't share that screenshot of that payment, right? To that. So what happens is the people, DURGASOFT doesn't know that which student has paid. So everyone's supposed to share the screenshot of your payment to the mail ID that is provided. So from which mail ID, you are sending the screenshot to the same mail ID, they'll be forwarding the link of this either Hadoop or this Python, the links, right? Yes. And you can also give the mail ID, the same mail ID you can use for interacting, right? For that. Okay, fine. You have any plans for weekend Python? Weekend Python, there won't be any weekend Python, right? I have data science goal in future, learning Hadoop analytics will be added. Yes, yes. A typical data scientist, right, depends upon the data engineer, right? A typical data scientist depends upon the data engineer for this extracting from the different data sources and processing it, right? So after that comes the data scientist, right, where he is going to perform some analysis and predictions, right? So yes, in this PySpark, I also deal with some MLlib libraries, right? And even in Python, I'm covering that machine learning modules which are not covered in the data science, like pandas, NumPy, Matplotlib for plottings, right? That also I'm covering. Yes. So the total everything, right? I showed you that the course content, right? Even you can see the 1 second. Any other queries you got, right? Okay.
Sagar, one question.
Yes, yes, go ahead.
Will we have any project after the course completion?
So I'll be showing one flow, one entire project flow, right? Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Fine. Linux, what is in Linux, right? Whatever required, Linux means we don't no need of the entire Linux knowledge. The commands which required for understanding Hadoop commands. So so the total Linux commands. So the commands which are required for understanding this Hadoop components, HDFS commands, right? That everything will be, I'll be discussing all those. So not a worry, people who are from non-Linux background, everything before I go with the practical part, I'll be discussing all those commands in brief, right?
Yes, sir. Yes,
So
sir. One more question.
what all the prerequisites required, like Linux, Python, everything will be discussed, right? Before we go with that PySpark company.
Yes,
Uh,
Sagar. One more question.
Hello.
Yes,
Hello.
somebody was asked, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, Sagar.
So right now I'm working as a Java developer, but I'm thinking to move to Python and do big data. So what will be the job opportunities once I make a switch?
So yes, yes, one thing, right? Previously, right? If you talk about this Hadoop, there was a component called MapReduce, which was mostly used in 2012, 13, 14, right? Only the Java people used to update with Hadoop at that time.
Okay.
Frankly speaking, right? Only the Java guys used to update with Hadoop environment because total coding used to go with Java at that time, right? But slowly, because of huge codings, people started migrating to other technologies. But what happened? This Apache has introduced many other components like Apache Pig, Apache Hive, right? The other things where will require less usage, where less coding is involved. So that's why even now everyone can able to update with these technologies like Hadoop PySpark, right? frankly speaking, it has came up from that Java technology. Even Java is required for installing this, right? Fine. Even everything runs on this JVM. Yes, and people from any background, right? This is a trending technology, right? Especially PySpark in the market with a very high speed, right? So even for huge storage, for unlimited data storage and processing, we will go like projects like ETL kinds of projects. ETL people previously there was Informatica, right? People projects related to that ETL, everything migrating to this Hadoop and PySpark environment.
And another question is, what would be the typical job roles or job titles that we would be searching for once we complete the course of Python and
Just now I was showing you, right? PySpark developer,
okay.
data engineer, Hadoop developer, PySpark developer, data engineer, right?
Okay, cool.
Okay, fine. So all the sessions will be interactive sessions, will be kept in unmuted status. At any point during the session, you can ask any query, and I'll be expecting you people to respond for each and everything I ask, right? So the sessions will be interactive sessions, right? The only thing is, if the practicals, if you are spending time, it will be very easy to understand, right? So you need to just spend some time with the practicals, right? And you need to experiment it. Why like this? If I change the input and why like that, and keep asking queries. So that's exploring the things. Will be you can understand easily, yeah, all these things. Right? So as it is providing many functionalities, inbuilt functionalities, you won't see like huge codings here, right? Fine. Okay. So fine. So if I'm done with your queries, if there are no other queries, I will sign off for now. Meet you tomorrow at 7 p.m. So tomorrow it will be at 7 p.m. mostly. Okay. So actually the session timing will be 6 to 8, 6 to 8 on Saturday and Sunday, right? It's fine. Fine. Thank you all for your time. Thank you. Meet you tomorrow at 7 p.m. using the same link, same time. Bye. Good night all.